All right, guys. So the first time Trump was in power, he dismantled the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and stacked it with a bunch of assholes who were not going to do consumer protection. Let me just be clear about what this agency is. This agency is phenomenal. It's one of the best government agencies we have. What they do is they make sure you're not getting screwed by big banks and credit card companies. So I have personal experience with this. I lost my credit card one night when I was out drinking at a bar when I was in college in New York. And so I had to call to cancel the card, and I did that and get a new one. And they said, do you want identity theft protection in case something like this happens again to make sure that there are no problems? And I was thinking, yeah, sure, why not? That sounds like a good idea. So I, whatever, it's $10 a month or whatever the fuck it was. And so I had the card, and fast forward years later, I get a check in the mail for hundreds of dollars. I'm like, this is weird. What's this from? So I read it. It's a check for hundreds of dollars from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They did an investigation, and they found out that credit card company, which was charging me for identity theft protection, there was no program to do identity theft protection. They were just stealing $10 from me every month and many others every month. And so they investigated it, found they are ripping people off, and they sent money to people who got ripped off. This is a government agency that's returned about $20 billion to Americans when they were defrauded by big financial institutions. It's a watchdog group. They're phenomenal, okay? So under Trump, handcuff them. In other words, let big business rob people. That's their idea. Democrats come back in, they build it back up, they make it better, right? Republicans come in, they destroy it. Well, now he's going to do it again. Trump is poised to dismantle the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The popular agency has cracked down on bank junk fees and worked to get medical debt off of credit reports. Just hours after U.S. President Donald Trump named a labor secretary nominee, seen by some union leaders as advocates as genuinely pro-worker, the Washington Post on Saturday detailed what the incoming administration and Republican Congress have planned for a federal agency designed to protect everyday Americans from corporate abuse. Initially proposed by Elizabeth Warren while she was still a Harvard Law School professor, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was created by the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, which Congress passed in response to the 2007-2008 financial crisis. The first Trump administration was accused of gutting the CFPB and corrupting its mission. However, as the Post noted, its current Democratic leader, Rohit Chopra, has been aggressive in his fights for consumers, working to get medical debt off credit reports and crack down on junk fees for everything from bank account overdrafts and credit cards to paycheck advance products. Efforts that have drawn fierce challenges from the financial industry. Chopra, an appointee of outgoing President Joe Biden, isn't expected to stay at the CFPB, but Trump's recent win hasn't yet halted bold action at the agency. On Thursday, it announced plans to supervise the largest non-bank companies offering digital funds transfer and payment wallet apps, which is set to impact Amazon, Apple, Block, Google, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle unless the Trump administration shifts course. The Post reported that Republican leaders intend to use control of the House, Senate, and White House next year to impose new restrictions on the agency, in some cases permanently, and early discussions align the GOP with banks, credit card companies, mortgage lenders, and other large financial institutions. In other words, they will not represent regular people. They will represent the industry. Here's what they say, quote, "There will be a pretty significant change from the direction the agency has been going in, and I think in a positive way," predicted Kathy Kraninger, who led the CFPB during Trump's first term. She now serves as chief executive of the Florida Bankers Association, a lobbying group whose board of directors includes top executives from Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, PNC, and Truist. Aides on Trump's transition team have started considering candidates to lead the CFPB, who are expected to ease its oversight of banks, lenders, and tech giants. The early shortlist includes Brian Johnson, a former agency official, Keith Norica, a banking consultant and former regulator, and Todd Zwicky, a professor at George Mason University's law school who has previously advised the Bureau, according to 4 people familiar with the matter. They're going to dismantle this thing, bro. They're going to dismantle this thing. And by the way, so he's got all these neocon war hawks he picked, all these corrupt billionaires he picked for his cabinet, and he has one good pick, the labor secretary. And the labor secretary is a Republican who's in favor of the PRO Act, which is very rare, by the way, to find a Republican in favor of the PRO Act. And, Sean O'Brien was happy about it. Labor was happy about it. Good, I'm happy. But my guess is they're going to handcuff that person. And to have somebody who's pro-labor as the labor secretary, while also destroying the NLRB and filling it with union busters, and destroying the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I think actions speak louder than words. And, Bill Clinton, for example, had Robert Reich as his labor secretary. and he still did NAFTA and welfare reform and did a whole bunch of damage on those issues. So my guess is the same thing's going to happen with Trump and that labor secretary. While they might personally have decent politics, they will not really be able to exercise that power. So prepare yourself for more junk fees, for more big banks and credit card companies robbing people, financial institutions robbing people, and prepare yourself for having zero cop on the beat, because that's what it's always like under Republicans, and it's about to happen yet again. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. You know the drill. Everybody, please click like, click subscribe, all that fun stuff. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. You can support the show on Patreon. You could also tip with that thanks button on YouTube if you're so inclined. Definitely tune in to Crystal Kyle and Friends this week. You can sign up for that on Substack below, by the way. We're going to have Ro Khanna on, Democratic congressman. He's going to give us his lessons of Kamala Harris's loss. Very interested to talk to somebody who's inside the belly of the beast and see what he's thinking and tell him what I think my solutions are. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.